All right, ladies and gentlemen, get excited. We've got a Dave versus Dave dual, dual, like dual, dual, duel. Okay,
No,
probably should have planned that one better.
it,
Yeah, we're gonna have a great encounter here. Sorry, Jeff appears to be trying to talk over my bloviation.
not at all. It is Dave Fest 2020. Welcome back, everybody.
Ah, so good. Just that's how I wish I had expressed it. Thank you for saving me there.
That's why we're here. All right, so Dave's in. Dave, I should specify which Dave is in first at 9-2, I do believe. And
And Dave is also not in first at 5 and
yeah,
6, which is uncharacteristic showing. Perhaps Bourbon Street was unkind to him a little bit. And just for context in the broader tournament, taking a look at the scoreboard, Dave Koenig is cleared by a game over. We've got two people at 8-3, Ben Schoenbrunn and Brad Whitmarsh, both of whom you have previously seen on this stream. So it's Dave Koenig putting in some work. We saw him play a pretty nice game last time, pushing Will Anderson, one of the top players here, into time trouble. So we'll see if he can keep this going against another top player.
22.
looks like Dave's opened with Kolog. It seems pretty standard there.
Play the bad stuff, keep
Yeah.
the good stuff. A+ in my book.
Yeah,
But
there's
it
really
is-
no reason to play short there, but it does give prudence back to Dave Koenig. So we'll draw first blood here.
It's hard not to look at Dave Wiegand and think that he's got a little bit of a 1,000-yard stare that is often associated with uncharacteristic losses. I'm not used to seeing him look that demonstrative, actually, in terms of reaction to bingo. So even though he's going to respond probably with a bingo of his own, it's
Yeah, I see Fontlet and Fletton right away from forming
Right.
FE, but there may be something even better than that.
my experience of losing is that it tires you out. It makes you less equipped to handle further downswings. And you notice that Dave just pounced on the clock. And I would be very surprised if we didn't see more of the same shenanigans with Dave trying to really make Dave Koenig. Maybe I'll just call him Koenig. Koenig is going to make Wiegand suffer on the clock this game. That is my prediction.
Yeah, I think that's true. Dave, in my experience, doesn't get into time trouble very often. I guess I think a lot of people depend on sort of the shape the game takes too. I mean, if the board stays open and Dave's got easily identifiable top plays, he's going to find them virtually 100% of the time, and that's going to save time. So, and so Dave's lined up looks like Fletton on his rack now. He must be considering. He's probably trying to rule out a double from the D. I don't believe there is one, so Fletton it is.
85.
And that's gonna put Dave up by 31 early in this encounter.
And now the board is pretty wide open, which I imagine Wiegand doesn't mind because he's got the tools to play very effectively. I mean, on really any board, but on an open board, I think it probably highlights some of the strengths he's known for.
He's an absolute steamroller on an open board, for sure. I usually try to avoid such things if I can. But Dave Koenig has been having a really strong tournament here, and I don't think he's going to have. I don't think he's going to worry too much about the board being open or closed. I think he's probably feeling pretty good about himself right now, and I'm sure thinks he can go toe to toe with Dave in a shootout. So I think the play here is probably Banty.
Yeah, I was looking at either
we got
that
N.
or body, which it looks like he might throw down, and he does.
Yeah, body looks. It's probably. It's much stronger.
Yeah, AMS a pretty good keep there. Takes on solves some of his imbalance problems. Okay, so Dave's got the Z here. Is there anything good he can do with that? Let's see.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be the kind of move that Dave stares at for a little while because I don't see any obvious star candidates here yet. There are some very cheap places to dump the Z for that add up to points, but they really leave some pretty dire combinations. So.
Well, another thing is that there is a ZO spot on top of Kolog that he could conceivably save the Z for next turn and hope Dave doesn't take it.
Right, he has to draw the right letter to use it, and it's not a huge spot. I mean, he could also. That's right. So he could very much end up deciding just to hold on to the Z and not cash it.
Yeah, and groom the rack a little bit.
Right. He could even do something. It's hard. He could do something like Bun, making Ob and Goo, and try to draw ZD at the bottom left. That doesn't seem very good. But
we clean up the most obvious problems with his rack.
Right. Or even Bunt or Bun, B-U-N-N. And Bun, if he plays Bun, he sets up Zit on row 10, which is quite nice. That's sort of like a bare minimum, but it's also not a star play. Ideally, when you sacrifice points to make some kind of a setup, you want that setup to. You want it to sting a bit when you do cash in on it. Otherwise, the sacrifice up front is not worth it. But he's going to go with Bunt.
20.
Which does set up Zen for 40-ish next turn, it looks like. So, and after KOENIG responds, it's possible that another Z play could materialize too.
Right. Yeah, keeping the Z is not hard. Not a hardship. It's not a bingo tile. Like on this board, I would probably rather keep IN ZIN. Well, that's hard to say. It's a tough call there, and he's trying to. His life is not going to get any simpler because he's drawn the second blank, but also a uniquely awkward combination to go with it. So.
Yeah, it doesn't look. Dave, he won't be bingoing right away.
No. Well, unless he knows, unless he gets down Yufuizing or something. But I was just going to say that KOENIG appears to have Belgian actors on his mind, but I don't think those are going to help him out of this one all that much.
And so I guess looking to ditch the V and that second A. I wonder if he's thinking of like Van under OB and GU. Doesn't score great, but
it's very interesting to me that he took his Vamp. I like. I think I would have. His cadence is very interesting. To me, Vamp seems like a more obvious move than some of the moves that he fast played last round, especially that we saw. But he did take a minute or two with Vamp, and that's after a long think on Dave's part. because he took about 3 or 4 minutes to figure out bunts. So that was an interesting pace. But either way, Koenig rewarded. That is gonna
46.
and in Wiegand gets ZT down relatively fast, and I think we're gonna see a pretty fast count.
Yeah,
173 to 1.
Dave's in pretty good shape here. Looks like Wanders or Wardens or Donners. Just once he rules out any sort of double-double, should be a pretty simple decision. Looks like it is.
And Wiegand has cleaned this rack up. ZT followed by a bingo is that's a pretty potent 1-2, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see a response bingo from Wiegand here. So this game's going to stay close.
Yeah, we certainly
Unchild?
10, 11, 22.
down at the bottom, yes.
79.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that would top that.
Wow, we got a cool suggestion from the chat. Where's keeping DNS? I like the way you guys are thinking. This is we're in the land of the experimental here. Nothing is wrong. This is CSW. This is 2020. It's a new decade. Open your minds. Pass up the bingo. Oh my goodness. Do you see what I see? Look at Dave's
I
rack.
do see what you see.
Oh,
Wow.
and
If that
he
comes
lined it up
down.
immediately. Wow. On
This
form.
could be a classic.
He found that immediate too.
Well, I
Man.
guess you could see that the he definitely
is-
saw that he needed a tee. I'm wondering how quickly he saw the fact that it fits.
What if he hasn't seen the fact that it fits yet?
That's what I'm wondering.
I
Yeah,
don't want to jinx him. That would sting.
Yeah. The new EW comes in handy quite a bit there.
Yeah, Koenig has this interesting. Everyone has interesting mannerisms, right? Koenig does this nod sometimes when he's thinking or like between turns. I always wonder what the nod means, and I guess what it means, I'm learning now, is that it means he's got a 6-tile overlap bingo. This is basically just like scouting. It's great. Getting reads on my opponents.
We just need to rig up some technology to steal signs effectively, and because apparently that's a thing. It's been done.
Oh, it's coming. Wow.
We go to the video.
This-
We have little buzzers signaling when the opponent has a blank, or yep, and it comes down. Beautiful. Look at this.
Man.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
As Dave Wiegand, you just gotta do exactly what he just did. The combo
Yeah.
duck face, head
Yeah.
shake.
There it is again. Yeah.
I mean, you're at 5 and 6, and this stuff is happening to you, man.
Yeah. Scrabble is fickle and often cruel.
But he's enough of a seasoned competitor, or I hope, selfishly, that he shakes it off and finds a way to stay in this one.
I'm confident he will. He's such a veteran of this. He's got such an even keel generally. I've played games where I was ahead by 200 with him or behind by 200, and his demeanor really didn't change that much. He'll find a way to do what he has to do, probably almost all the time.
I think that's a good call. There is an interesting alternative to Unchild. I don't think it was right, but Urchin for 44, keeping L blank. Well, that's probably not worth it. It would have blocked Emurit, though, and an alternative version of Scrabble where you get to see your opponent's letters before making the play. So,
yeah, an open rack Scrabble, that might have been an ideal thought. That would be really difficult. It's almost It's easier when you don't know.
To me, the hardest single moment in a game of Scrabble is when your opponent is just phony, because then it's like you're not just optimizing your rack. You have to. It's basically like playing an end game early. It's like you have to optimize your play and figure out what they're going to do with letters that they kept, and they're a fallible human, and what are they most likely to? What do they keep?
If you leave a bingo lane open, will they be able to take it, or will they be disheartened by getting a phony challenged off and just play off a few troublesome tiles for 25? It's hard to know.
Exactly. I can't tell you how many times I've thought, well, they must not know that word, and then they down.
Yeah.
Speaking of blocking, KOENIG just has an embarrassment of riches because he's got a monster Q play just waiting to go down in approximately 0.2 seconds. And I don't know if WIEGAND is going to block this one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the most obvious place on the board for WIEGAND to play, given he has sort of the wrong tiles for it and other issues to sort out.
Oh, there's a really cool play being in the chat. Really, really cool. It's setting up the J. And actually, this is a rack where, because of the dearth of legitimate immediate options, that a setup is something you'd look for. Yeah, because there's just nothing that good. So it makes sense to try to maneuver to help yourself. And the suggestion here is playing a riot, ARIOT, and MA, and that would set up the J on column B at B6 for a 50-point J play. That's pretty cool.
That is very cool. It seems better than anything that's immediately available. WIEGAND here.
Yeah, another thing being suggested is movie making or OU id, but yeah, you want to make that setup if you can.
That's the thing with WIEGAND being behind a little bit too. It doesn't seem to. Other than playing troublesome tiles off, I'm not sure what else it accomplishes. Whereas a riot creates a very useful new possibility.
And Dave is obviously capable of finding a riot. I think it's almost more. It's the kind of play where he would spot it, and he's gone for a heat. My sense is that Dave WIEGAND on a normal day would find a riot and choose to play it, and I think it's just hard to keep finding your best plays when you're losing, when you're getting bingoed on with 6 tile overlaps, you're getting kaited for 70. But at the very least, he just drew
an S, yes.
An S. So there's some solace there.
Yeah, so it looks like Dave will at least be able to strike back for something like at 62, 63.
And he'd better do it because Koenig
Yeah.
is gonna pounce on that if that stays open. So
And not only that, I think, let's see, this kind of a bingo through the E there on the other side, but Scade. Yeah. I
very nice.
think.
No, it
Oh,
doesn't.
no, wait. It
doesn't
doesn't.
fit.
IE isn't good. That's right. But Dave will have some good options. Dave Koenig will have some good options next turn anyway. There's a lot of useful things on his rack.
Yeah, Koenig up 60, up 73. This is actually a really volcanic game in terms of there's 32 unseen. There's 25 tiles in the bag, and they're about to both go over 300. So they're really it's a barn burner. But even after Wiegand takes the lead, or I guess he won't take the lead, but Koenig definitely the favorite here. There's a very interesting discussion going on here about in our chat about playing Fritz and saving the S. Yeah, I don't think he can do that. He's chosen not to.
62.
There's too many S's unseen.
Yeah, it's too much of a competitive resource. You can do things like that with exclusive access to a spot, but I don't think OOS is. I'm not sure you're always going to get to cash Kaid's next turn. I think Koenig either has it or blocks. But it's man, our viewers are coming up with some really, really good stuff, and so is Koenig. Look at that. Wow, so much for hot spots. Man, the Koenig. I don't know how else to put this. Koenig is balling right now. Like, he is just finding plays fast, like finding tough plays fast. He's really in the zone.
Yeah, he's still got 18 minutes on his clock, and just while some of these play like Kaid is pretty straightforward, but not every play has been. I mean, certainly there's a lot of players that wouldn't have seen Emir the way it overlaps like that. So
yeah, Sheik is doing good.
Yeah, and Sheik puts him up 80.
Not easy at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, he had to see OK, which not everybody's used to yet, too. Dave is stuck with another troublesome rack, and it would have been nice to clean that up with a play ending in Y for FY, but Dave Koenig has already taken that spot out.
Right. Yeah, and Koenig found that. I mean, that was not available until Sheik was not available until Foots went down. He found that with maybe 10
it was very quick.
Seconds.
Yeah. Very nicely done. So.
Well, it's certainly not over. It's 80-point deficit is daunting, but it's definitely not insurmountable. Question is what Wiegand can do to tilt the odds in his favor a bit.
Yeah, you figure he'll need obviously at least one bonus, but he'll need some other things to go wrong for his opponent in terms of what they draw.
Absolutely.
But even though Dave has 3 A's, you've got overlap possibilities. I guess in alongside Emir that might clean some of that up, or to score well, or do things that are useful to him. And having no vowels except I's is restricting what Dave can do in terms of overlaps.
Yeah. Waj, however you pronounce that, would be a
Yeah, and he's already lined it up for that.
borderline knockout blow.
Yeah, I guess as long as Koenig can continue to score reasonably well, there isn't much for reason he won't outrun Wiegand unless a miracle happens. There is, I mean, I guess the V is still available for triple, but I wonder at what point Dave Koenig starts thinking about taking that out. I mean, if it's the only way you can lose.
If I'm Wiegand here, I hate it, but I would think about playing NY and ARY and REN, setting up, keeping a really dreadful, no good leave, but at least setting up column M.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't score enough, but he could really use a play to the Z, or the chat suggested primary on that one, which is very, like, a really nice cleanup move. Scores 30. Doesn't do much for the board shape, however.
Yeah, in fact, that'd be kind of working against him at this point. Right. Yeah, at a different score, that would be absolute.
Yeah, but in this case, it would bring to a close faster. He might still have to do it, honestly, because maybe the alternatives are just so much worse.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Shout out to our viewers for coming up with great suggestions this game. Wow, what a suggestion. Love it. Someone in the chat said, yeah, can fish off the N and go for primarily.
Yeah, it's certainly a long shot, but yeah, it won't be enough. Probably.
There's a time and a place for such things, right? I mean,
oh, absolutely.
1L, 1 out of 22 times the probability of it not getting blocked. If you think your chances of winning otherwise are sub 2%, then have at it.
Yeah, if there's nothing to lose.
Dave can also play Ur here. YIRR top left. Scoring 27, keeping INPR. It blocks the V, which is obviously not great, but it scores nice and keeps the board a little more open than primary. I think I might play Ur here.
Wiegand now under 5 minutes. He's
yeah,
a considerable amount of time on this turn, and it's a tricky turn. Wherever it happened, you would have to take a lot of time to sort this out. It's just a really tough rack.
Yeah, and it's sort of you can give a mix of credit, right? Some of the credit is to Koenig for making a point of playing very quickly, but his decisions were less nuanced than the ones that Wiegand has had to make. So it's sort of it's hard to know how much to attribute to concerted to a plan and how much to just how things worked out.
Yeah, I mean, there's only limited control over what what types of racks you're going to run into. A lot of it, you're at the mercy of the bag for these things in some cases. It looks like Dave may be considering year where we were talking about.
Yeah, that's. I mean, Waj is gonna sting.
Yeah, I'm not sure anything is going to help Wiegand come back after that.
Ur does one thing about Ur compared to primary is that Ur does leave the second to last column, column N, open, and that's probably his best lane at this point. Sad as it is.
381. And I'm at 432.
Maybe he needs to bingo through the Z to win, actually. Something like polarize, still in the bag.
Well, he's got the IE now, so he's not too far away, but he would still need to groom it a little bit.
I think you might see him starting to fish for that.
Koenig wasting no time putting down Wadge.
30.
Pretty clearly his best option there.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, he's also keep his lead of 2A's play next turn, forming odd and
Overlaps.
AMA and score even more.
Yeah, it's always
So, yeah, one thing leads to another.
Yeah. As an onlooker, it's always wild when it's like someone's 50-point scoring play is also a setup play. It's like, man, that's not fair.
Yeah, just too many things coming together all at once. Yeah, and to a point I think you made earlier too. I mean, when you're the beneficiary situations like that, I think it also can bring out, Koenig has been making some good decisions very quickly, and I think it feeds into your confidence. If things
sure.
are going right, then you start believing that it's like, hey, if I keep doing what I know I'm supposed to do, maybe it'll keep going right, and I'll win. And I think there's an uplift that comes from that experience that may make you play a little bit better or sharper.
Yeah, it's I think the most important skill in the game is balance or composure.
Yeah,
Ultimately.
absolutely.
So if I'm Wiegand here with 3 A's and 3 O's out, I am immediately fishing off IN and going polarize.
Yeah, it's about the only hope he has to even approach winning. I mean, even that might not.
Even that might not do it, but he can put down something like a main EMAIN. I mean, that's really horrible because it blocks his own lane. So maybe not that. But your mindset goes from I am going to try to bingo to I'm going to try to get this 110.
Yeah.
And he's under a minute, so I kind of think that
He's gonna.
Penny is throwing in the towel a little bit.
It's going to be 407 to 480.
406.
Yeah, it just looks like he's taking maybe cutting spread a little. By taking a few more points.
You see that he almost drew into
Valorize. Yeah.
He's got to look at that and or at least in his shoes, I would look at that and think, maybe I should have thought about that one a little more.
Well, there is an E left, so he may have an opportunity to fish off an N. Go for that again.
I don't think he has time. If I'm not is there 4 in the bag?
There's 4 in the bag, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, he may not be able to do that, depending on what Koenig does.
If Koenig plays 3. Yeah, he drew Wiegand drew the AO. I really think he's gonna kick himself if he looks back on this one, because I think that was actually a kind of a golden opportunity. I mean, you look at Koenig's rack right now, and he's in really no state to block the Z at all. I mean, he probably still wins, but just playing nit, id, and nid for 14 bottom right.
Yeah, that would be.
He could have stole it, I think. Stolen it.
Dave has Zoana lined up on his rack. XOANA. Another fun 5 from Collins Land.
Can you define Zoana in a sentence?
Zoana is the plural of Zoanon. That's about as close as I can get.
Yeah, it's something to do with like religious Greek statues. Question mark?
Yeah, that's about all I remember. Yeah, it's something like. The exact definition doesn't come to me at the moment.
Because Zoanna, I mean, is we already called several moves a finishing blow, so can't come up with another term. So it's the icing on the cake. There we go.
Yeah.
But for people in the chat, I would say that while in this case Koenig probably would have beat Polarize, he's still got to try. Oh, look at that! Oh, very cute.
5.
Yeah, that takes it out and preserves Zoanna. That accomplishes a couple of good things.
That is the kind of move you make when you know you're gonna actually, I take that back. That is a great move. It's really more of a spread play than anything because Zoanna is probably enough to win.
39.
So it's kind of it's really spread. I don't even know if it's right. Like he was probably 100% to win, and it's probably just leads to him getting a little less spread most of the time. But it's cool. It's a cool. It's a very cute move. And certainly, I certainly didn't think of it. I doubt anyone in the chat did.
Here's Zoanna now.
9, 10, 11, 12, 20, 21, 42.
That's quite the finishing blow.
53, 54, 57.
Yeah, poor Wiegand, man. I'm definitely gonna buy him a drink the next time I see him. Well, not to endorse such things in a public channel, but our clever chat. Okay, I gotta say, intrepid chat, thoughtful chat suggested GUE instead of gun because then Zoanna goes down, making ague, which truly would have been some 5-dimensional chess ball action. Zoanna for 65 would have been able to go down.
I see what they put. I guess the fact that Dave Wiegand almost surely also had an A, though.
Yeah, so maybe
would stop you from doing that.
Yeah, it's
well, yeah, if he doesn't have an A, then that's absolutely.
Yeah, but he is a 57. Zoanna for 57 probably. Yeah,
if that's your fallback play, you're living right.
That should probably do the job. Got a 1,000-pointer here. Mostly just the product of all these high-scoring power ties. Not even that many bingos. Just some huge plays going up this.
Yeah, an awful lot of
fireworks. Yeah, CSW19 enabled must be pointed out. Murit not going down without EW. Shake not going down without OK.
7 plus 6 is 5, 6, 3 to 4, 6, 4.
Nice game.
Thanks. Take it to within 100.
That's Cody delivers the last
Yeah, from where I was looking at the end,
play and clinches the win.
something like Valorize or Solarize still possible at the end. So,
Yeah, Koenig is rolling. There is no other way to put it. 10-2, just beating some of the best players in America one after another with just vast, high-scoring play. He is living good right now. He is feeling himself. It will be fascinating. These things can change quickly. And he's not so far up on the field yet, so let's not coronate any Koenigs quite yet. But yeah,
there's
really
still 8 games to play, and the field is such that it's not hard to run into a.
It's gonna be unusual for you.
Yeah. Let's see.
In fact, I remember some years ago I was event started at 10-0 and finished out of the money.
Oh no.
I went 2-8 the rest of the way.
Oh, jeez.
I was 10-0. I actually was a round robin, and I'd won against everybody. And then, yeah, the second half of the tournament was the photo negative of that.
They all got their revenge on you one after.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
it's like, well, that's Scrabble.
Hopefully, you've made a recovery from that memory. what they-
I'm getting there. It's been 6-7 years. I'm still working on that. But no, it's okay.
Nah, that's one of the great things in the game.
Crazy that
Heroic comebacks,
seven-tile draw.
and every heroic comeback probably corresponds to a heroic free fall or an unheroic one.
Yeah, a disaster. Yeah. I think anybody who plays this game long enough those experiences.
The kismet of Scrabble.
Yeah, well put. Okay, so we thank everybody for tuning in. I guess we're hitting lunch break now on day 2 of
I'm sure I've got a
the
lot
Crescent City Cup 2020. And commentators will be back after about a 1 hour break, I believe, 1.5 hour break. I don't know how they're doing that these days. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. This is Jeff Teveno with Jesse Day.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in and listening to my mellifluous voice all morning, people. I'm off of the tournament, slacking from here on out, but really appreciate you guys tuning in. And we hit 100 viewers, 100 viewers, 100 people like yourselves around the world.
It's pretty special. I would
Let's
savor
keep
that.
that up.
just to kill this D&E and these lanes, the over.
All right, everybody.